Welcome, everybody, to the Auto Accident Attorneys Podcast. I'm your host, Attorney Ali. I'm the managing partner of the Auto Accident Attorneys Group, and today I am joined by my partner, Jamie Salimi, or on social media, you can find her at Attorney Jamie. Jamie, why don't you tell them what the podcast is about?
So this podcast is about taking a deep dive into the stories, the experiences, and the insights into the world of accidents, injury, and law. So whether you're here for inspiration, information, or just some good conversation, you're in the right place.
And this is our inaugural episode for us to introduce ourselves to you, and hopefully we do provide both inspiration, information, and it will be conversational in nature. I didn't really know how to start an episode 1 of a podcast. Most importantly, I think we should get started with why it started and why it exists.
So I'll start with my background. I was not always an accident lawyer. I started out in the corporate world as a corporate securities and transactional attorney. Most of my clients were public companies or private companies trying to become public. So we did a lot of transactional work, mergers and acquisitions, financings, going public transactions. So basically, I was working for clients who had a lot of money or who were about to come into a lot of money. And I did that for maybe like 6 years, went in-house to a tech company doing some transactional work with commercial contracts. And somehow I ended up in this world. Why?
Let's not jump the shark. Let me give my background.
Okay.
How do we get there?
Your turn.
And then I'll let them know what my sales pitch was. But so I'm Attorney Ali. Before the Auto Accident Attorneys Group, Jamie's cousin actually had me working in criminal defense. Richard Kim was a veteran of the Los Angeles County Public Defender's Office. He went out into private practice and immediately pulled me on board and said, "Hey, I've got more work than I can handle. You're a fresh attorney. You're not practicing law. Come and let me teach you." Richard passed, actually. That might be too much personal information, but it is critical to the story, I think, because that led me into hanging up my own shingle right around the same time that Instagram was starting. And I didn't know how Instagram worked or hashtags, but I would see all the young kids using it. So my idea was in order to get clients, I was going to advertise only on Instagram organically. I didn't know the term organic at the time, but I had set up even dismiss.com. I thought it was catchy because that's how hashtags were at that time, or at least that's how I thought hashtags worked. Did that for a few years, and Maddie came along.
Yeah.
And it seemed like I was going to need to generate thousands of clients that I couldn't do doing criminal defense on my own. So I had the brilliant idea of a space that seemed like had a lot of upside and didn't have the best reputation. As a matter of fact, the reputation in the industry was such that when I approached Jamie about opening a personal injury firm, your thoughts were?
Ew. Billboard attorney,
Yeah.
ambulance chasers. No, we are not ambulance chasers.
No, we're not. And
Actually, we're not billboard attorneys either.
technically,
Yeah.
even the advertisements that we do have, we try and keep it to the aesthetic of the community.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said, what Jamie felt is what I think many people feel about the industry in general. And as much as I like to defend the personal injury space, I see things within the industry, and I don't think that it's undeserved. I do think that just like any other industry, there are some bad apples, and we can always do better as a whole. So somehow I convinced Jamie that we should give up the world of
La La Land.
Yeah. And
so you had the idea for other reasons. Let's maybe consider the Atlanta area. And if you can believe it, if you're in Atlanta, then you know personal injury lawyers are everywhere. Billboards, commercials, the backs of trucks, they're just everywhere. It wasn't this saturated, though, when we first moved here.
That's right.
Let's be honest. It wasn't just a practice change for both of us. It was a change in geography and I think this area was ripe at that time for us to enter at that time because the market was not as saturated as it is now. Coming from LA, it was uber saturated with personal injury lawyers. You had started to get into that space after criminal defense, and it was just so hard. But, we looked at making a change in where we were, and Atlanta just seemed like an excellent choice. And
Yeah.
then you had already started thinking about personal injury anyway, and bringing me on board.
The market change was a huge factor that
Mhm.
sometimes I overlook. I don't know if it's purposeful that I try not to think about it because I want to seem like I knew what I was doing. And it was,
We'll just say you did. it
but it was, I remember
was great timing.
it was. Let's just say I would hate to be starting out right now.
You can't start out now. The billboards are everywhere. The personal injury lawyers are everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's weird to think we are not that new batch. We're always looking for how to grow more, try new things like this podcast.
Like this podcast, which brings me back to how we chose what market to go into.
Yeah.
And it was actually, believe it or not, it was based on family. I grew up in this community. Our office is in East Cobb. We're literally on the corner of Johnson, Ferry, and Roswell. If you're not a Metro or North Atlanta native, that means nothing to you, but just know that it is, what can we compare it to back in California? Turtle Rock?
Yeah, it's like Irvine without the beach close by.
Yeah, let's be gentle with East Cobb. It's a great place to live. It's a bedroom
It's
community.
it's a great community for families.
It was important for me to not only enter a market where I thought we could make a change and make a difference, but also change the community. When we moved here, the building that we're sitting in was a dilapidated, empty, former Wells Fargo bank. We're doing events for the community, all to say that it is important to both of us that we don't just have a business in this community, we live in this community. So it's important for us that our business gives back to the community and adds something of value.
Right.
We were talking about the billboards earlier. We don't take the billboards, but there are a lot of bus stops that are actually unused. I think the bus stops are just used for advertising purposes.
I mean, so many of them were just sitting there with super old ads, color faded, or an advertisement to advertise there. Who wants to see that, when you're driving your kids to school in the morning or going from activity to activity? It doesn't look pretty.
Right.
You don't want that in your community.
So we made a conscious decision to take all of the empty billboards, advertise us, but the main advertisement is actually East Cobb.
Nobody's removing the structures. They're going to be there anyway. Might as well do something better with them.
Right. So if
You're
you,
such a good person.
well, I'm glad you said that on air.
We just circled all the way back to that, didn't we?
The why.
Yeah.
So we saw a lot of upside. We formed the auto accident attorneys group. And one of the first things we did was think about the why to lead us to our tagline, which is,
We take care of you.
and that was the best way that we could collaboratively come up with expressing what it is that our firm does. Speaking about attorney advertising and the billboards and the bus stop ads, one of the first things that we had implemented,
The car seat replacement program. Mm-hmm.
and are donating.
We still have it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you're in an accident and you've got a child safety seat in your vehicle, and it's the NHTSA says that if there's any property damage and somebody inside the vehicle is injured, that car seat needs to be replaced. That's the standard. People that are even at fault, so nobody else is going to pay for it. So that was one of the ways that we were.
Because why not? I mean, we have the means. We have, the structure set up for that. It's not a lot off our backs. And we don't want a compromised car seat in anyone's vehicle. Great idea.
Thanks. I don't remember if that was me or you.
It was most likely you.
Damn, the idea.
You have all the ideas.
I'm the
That's one that actually came into fruition, and we implemented it. That was good.
I'm the idea guy. You're the brains behind the operation.
Thanks.
I'm like, hey, we should do this, and you figure out how to do it.
Okay.
I think that's
All
a
right.
fair
Thanks for the
assessment.
credit. On his birthday. Today is his birthday.
It is my birthday.
Yes. Happy birthday, Ali.
Thank you. Thank you, Attorney Jamie. At Attorney Jamie. Do you have any, is it just one word, at Attorney Jamie?
I think so.
Mine, I couldn't get at Attorney Ali. It doesn't seem like anyone else has it, but on Instagram, I had to do, now I might get them backwards. One of them is at attorney.ali, and the other one is at attorney_Ali.
Okay.
If anyone besides my mother is watching this, you just search at Attorney Ali. So let me see what comes up. I wanted to talk about our A,
Okay.
which is one of my favorite things about our firm. If you know anything about Attorney Ali, you know that he doesn't rock Nike. So we're not getting any Nike sponsorships.
Also another episode, but okay.
I rock one brand and one brand only. It's the 3 stripes. It's the Adidas. And when we were coming up with the Auto Accident Attorneys Group trade name, I wanted somehow to implement the 3 stripes. And I told Larry.
Oh, Larry on.
Luke. Larry on. Hey,
Larry on is also a brilliant mind.
But he's not a designer.
And one of my favorite people in the world, but okay.
Larry on and Larry Luke are definitely 2 of my most favorite people.
Larry Luke, amazing designer.
Amazing designer. Hopefully, Larry Luke, if you happen to watch this, I'm going to formally invite you onto the podcast. I would love to talk about the design elements, talking about our wall, the RV project that you did. Brilliant. I know you're on bigger and better things, but it makes our firm look even better. And that's why I'm not going to mention what he's working on right now, just in case he's embarrassed that he did these projects, but he shouldn't be, because it's a beautiful thing and everyone all.
Timing is perfect, is always important, because we asked Larry to do this stuff for us back then.
Yeah.
There's no way we could get him now.
If anyone in the Atlanta area knows Mr. 404, you know that right now, if I asked him for a project, he's nice enough of a gentleman to text me back, but the text would be, I don't have time for you.
Right.
He would refer someone.
LOL.
And then Larry on is a great human being too, but he's mostly in government contracts.
Right. Nothing to do with accidents, injury, or law.
Look, we're the Auto Accident Attorneys Group. We see auto accidents day in, day out. By this, I don't know if we've reached tens of thousands of cases quite yet, but thousands of auto accidents. We've seen it all. If you've got any questions, on a daily basis, you get hit up on message boards in Facebook, or at least you get tagged, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so use us as a resource. It doesn't cost anything. We were talking about the billboard saying no fees. It's truly no fees, because we're a contingency fee-based firm.
It's just a portion of the settlement that you're awarded at the end of your case. We take a percentage of that. And
if
so,
they lose?
And if they lose, you don't owe anything, because you weren't able to get anything.
What if we spend like
typically we will have costs that we have, paid on the front end. And if we don't get reimbursed for those, hopefully we'll benefit in some other way with karma, goodwill, some other way down the line. But we can't expect you to come out of pocket, because ultimately we want to take care of you. We're not going to hurt you.
So there's no risk for them.
No.
At all. So use us as a resource, even if it's property damage only. I ask that you be conscious of our time, because we're not making money off of it. Don't expect that you're going to get 3 weeks of uninterrupted phone calls with Jamie directly to get a rental vehicle, but we'll give you all the tips. Actually, if you go to our website.
Yeah, we have that video for property damage and the rental vehicle help.
Yep. And any help for demands, we've got templates for you. Yep. They're under free resources. The website is
www.theaaagroup.com.
That's THE_group.com. Thanks for helping out with the inaugural episode, especially on my birthday.
So
I know you got a lot planned.
That's my gift.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Listeners, please tune in. What it's going to be like in the future is the life experiences, industry experiences, stories, questions that we are faced with on a daily basis over and over and over again, where we're giving the same advice and counsel. We'll just have a repository here so that hopefully the knowledge that we have up here in between our ears is scalable and people can refer to it often and hopefully before you even need it. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Mom, I know if you're not the only listener, you're going to be my first listener. So thank you. I'll teach you how to subscribe. Everyone else subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. If you're a client that sees this and you'd like to be on the episode, we would love to have you. Just call the number 866-220-1490 and we will schedule you in the office. All right, everybody. Take care. Take care.
Bye.